The Arkansas Supreme Court has joined with the Arkansas Bar Association to create the Arkansas Access to Justice Commission. Our goal is to improve civil legal aid to the poor. You may not know just how great that need is in our state. Regrettably, we rank 48th in the country in per capita funding for legal aid for the poor. There are 118,000 families living in poverty in our state, representing over 555,000 people. That's 20% of our citizens who are underserved when it comes to justice. And when I speak of those who are shut out by economic realities, I'm talking about people on the edge. To qualify for legal aid in Arkansas, you must not earn more than $12,250 a year, or for a family of four, no more than $25,000. And when we talk about offering free civil legal aid, let me stress that our legal services staff are not taking on cases expected to result in fee awards. These are cases concerning basic human needs, such as domestic violence, child support, disability, housing, and elder care. For 6 years now, federal funding for this critically needed legal aid has been slipping away. In 2005, our legislature stepped up to the problem and for the first time provided funds by increasing court case refiling fees. But let's be candid about our legal aid system. It is still underfunded and overworked. But with a dedicated staff and volunteer pro bono partners, we are making a difference every day in the lives of Arkansans. I invite you now to learn firsthand about the work we are doing.
It has all the look of a perfect family scene. A young mother and her two children enjoying a playground. But for Miriam, the journey to this moment was filled with danger, abuse, and desperation.
And I was just scared to death because I was thinking that he was gonna just jump on me and beat me really bad again.
Miriam met her husband working on a cruise ship. She moved to Arkansas and began a family. But as her relationship changed, her husband turned her immigrant status against her.
I'll make sure you go back there. That's what he said to me. Yeah, when you try to divorce me, I'll get the children's custody. I'll assure you, I'll get them, and you will end up going back to Peru with nothing.
In the spring, her husband followed through on his threat, leaving her on the street and taking the children.
I was powerless at that moment.
But then she called the Center for Arkansas Legal Services. Staff attorney Dustin Duke in the Little Rock office took on her case.
She was very, very upset. She was absolutely, completely distraught, as you can imagine.
As a specialist in family law, Duke knew that Miriam had a shot at citizenship under the Violence Against Women Act and put her in touch with immigration specialists. And he went to court, gaining a protective order and temporary child custody and peace of mind for his client.
We won the order of protection for 1 year. Then, the most important, I got my children's temporary custody. And he helped me to do that, and he was very, very sharp, very helpful with his advices.
And so, with a lawyer on her side, Miriam finds herself refocused on raising her children.
But now she is confident that she understands the laws a lot better. She's confident that she is going to get her residency, and she's feeling pretty confident in keeping her children. Honestly,
God bless me with the legal aid. I thank God a lot for allowing me to call the legal aid.
Every week I'll get a new sheet.
Ethel Ross, a 76-year-old grandmother, gets a homework update from the granddaughter she raises. She's a bright 13-year-old and avid reader, but this young teen was abused as an infant and still undergoes therapy and medical treatment. Her condition qualified her for Social Security disability payments, at least until 2 years ago when she was dropped from the program.
It was a lot of stress, a lot of burden, for trying to send her to school and support her.
Not only a burden day to day, but the government sent her a letter asking for money back.
They sent me a bill saying I owed them $18,000, and I wasn't able to pay it. So they just kept sending me them letters.
Afraid she was going to have her own Social Security taken away to pay the huge bill, she contacted the legal aid office in Jonesboro.
$18,000 it might as well be $1 million to her. There's no way that she could pay that.
That I needed a lawyer, but I knew I wasn't able to hire one. So I was depending upon legal aid.
More than just a lawyer, Ethel Ross got CHARIS LANGSTON, a paralegal who calls this case an amazing combination of different problems. But she knew how to attack the bureaucratic hurdles.
The system's so bogged down that it takes so long. The reason that it even got as far as it got was the grandmother had tried to appeal the case, the disability case, on her own, and it was scheduled for an administrative law judge hearing, and she didn't receive a notice.
And so, back at Ethel Ross's home in Blytheville, the letters demanding payment kept coming.
Kept me awake at night and kept me crying and, worrying about it, because I was worried about it. Wondering how was I going to handle this. $18,000, that's a lot of money.
But for Legal Aid's Langston, the evidence of medical need was not just obvious, but convincing.
The administrative law judge found that the child's disability never ended, therefore the overpayment never occurred, so the $18,000 overpayment was waived. The child benefits were reinstated, and they received a back paycheck for 2 years' worth of benefits while the case was on appeal.
And so back home, the focus is now back on a young child's achievements.
I think it's great. I think legal aid is great. I really do.
Come on, first, my favorite.
In Northwest Arkansas, a 6-year-old boy has to work hard at holding on to the connection with his father. His dad, Jeff Hinthorn, served in the 24th Transportation Company of the U.S. Army. It was on his second tour of Iraq that his life ended, and that in turn ended his support for his son, Brendan.
It was no longer there. Confusion about what I was going to do, who was going to help.
Brendan's father and mother had never married, and that created a legal void for military survivor benefits and left his mother, Sandra, looking for help.
I called around and got prices for attorneys, and I found out that they were pretty expensive, especially for the work that we were needing, because they weren't only dealing with us, they were dealing with the military also. And come to find out that there wasn't a lot of attorneys that were experienced with guardianship for the military benefits.
Guardianship can be a simple process, but in her case it was not.
Attorney Craig Campbell of Rogers, Arkansas, is a specialist in banking, finance, and estates. But military benefits, that was new. As a member of Legal Aid's Pro Bono Partners panel, he agreed to take the case of young Brendan and his mom.
She didn't understand really what the requirement was. I mean, she was Brendan's mother. Jeffrey Henthorn was the dad. Why couldn't somebody just give her some money? And she didn't understand the red tape that the government was laying out there in front of her in order to get these benefits paid.
Within just a few months, Campbell was able to win the order of guardianship at the Benton County Courthouse that the military required. And young Brendan was awarded $50,000 that Campbell put into a trust he created. And now the boy receives a monthly survivor's benefit of almost $1,100 in support.
I feel that Brendan's gonna suffer for losing Jeff, but Jeff's still taking care of Brendan. I mean, he chose the military as a career, but now the military's job is to take care of my son, and I think that they did. There's no way that Brendan could have got his benefits without legal aid. There was no way I can afford an attorney.
Okay. What type of problem are you having?
Every day at Legal Aid offices across Arkansas, the calls for help keep the phones ringing.
It's not abnormal to have 30 cases go to case review on a daily basis. If we have less than 30, it's a slow day.
The calls for legal help add up. Close to 28,000 requests a year, and yet the legal staffing has fallen with federal program cuts, and those who remain juggle many jobs.
I'm a paralegal. I'm an office manager here. I'm the database manager for the entire program. I have 52 open cases of my own right now. I travel to the West Memphis office 4 days per month. I travel to the Helena office 2 days a month. I meet clients in outreach offices when needed.
And so it goes across the state. Whether in the Delta or in Southwest Arkansas, our two nonprofit legal service providers are working hard to meet the need. The Center for Arkansas Legal Services and Legal Aid of Arkansas are making sure that access and fairness remain a part of our great legal system.
Without legal services, the private bar would be so overrun with the demand or the demand for free cases. So, but with legal services, if you're low income, you can come to us with civil legal cases. You know, we're free. You're only required to pay the court costs if there's any court costs involved. And we go to bat for you. We take care of the situations for the client.
The bottom line is the clients that we handle, they cannot afford an attorney on their own. And if they didn't have us or the pro bono attorneys that assist us, they're just not going to have anyone representing them. They're going to be to court without a lawyer. They're just not going to go to court at all. They're going to just lose out.
On a day-to-day basis, I don't deal with people in the low-income sector, so it kind of grounds me and brings me back to earth to work with these people. I think it's the duty of my profession to provide legal services to those people that don't have access to them, and that's one of the things that we're charged with doing as attorneys.
We are in this for helping people to be able to realize their legal rights and to kind of just get the burden off of them.
We do good work. We help a lot of people. There are a lot of people we can't help. But even if all we can do is offer advice, the advice is better than knowing nothing. Not knowing what their rights are or what steps they can take next on their own.
Which brings us to the point where we began, with the need for legal services. 1 of every 5 persons in Arkansas lives below the poverty level, where often the need for civil legal help can be the greatest. And in Arkansas, despite the best of efforts, only a part of that need is being addressed. And that is why the Arkansas Access to Justice Commission asks for your continued support. Support for funding and for the donation of time and services through the Pro Bono Partnership. It will take all of us working together to forge the road to civil justice.